Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a Diablo and Overwatch news wrap-up video where we give our thoughts on the happenings of the week. This is our 19th episode in this series, so feel free to check out any previous episodes, and make sure you have your subscription notifications turned on to be alerted of new episodes. Now I'd like to kick things off by noting that I will have an update video on the big Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy going up early next week. But I will mention that Blizzard has taken a jab at EA over all this. In case you're not aware, Battlefront 2 is a full-priced game that includes some pay-to-win microtransaction elements and requires dozens of hours of grinding, or money, to unlock heroes in the game. This week, StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty went free to play, and Blizzard released a well-timed advertisement. Here's some snippets from it.
Dad, I'm getting wrecked. Can't I buy some stronger units?
Buy units? Son, we don't talk like that in this house. Your grandfather didn't give his life just so his grandson could pay money to be good at something.
But, Dad, Grandpa's still alive.
And your mother. She wanted to bring you into a world where you'd be judged by your elite skills, not by what you spend.
Now, it takes time to produce a commercial like this, so it's likely just coincidence and good timing that Blizzard released this right during this big controversy. But what isn't a coincidence are these tweets by the official StarCraft 2 Twitter. Number of hours it takes to earn the full StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty campaign? 0. Number of hours before you can play any co-op commander in StarCraft 2? 0. Number of pay-to-win mechanics in StarCraft 2? 0. Well played, Blizzard. Now, before we dive into Diablo news here, we'll mention that if you're just here for Overwatch, you can skip ahead to the time indicated above. And we'll actually kick off Diablo news with Diablo-related news. Not about Diablo, but about Marvel Heroes. It was announced this week that Marvel Heroes will be shutting down. In case you're not aware, Marvel Heroes was basically considered to be a Marvel Diablo game, and was largely the brainchild of David Brevik, one of the fathers of Diablo. But ever since Brevik left Gazillion, the developer, in early 2016, many players felt that the game has gradually gone downhill due to mismanagement by corporate. Now, the game servers will be shut down on December 31st, and there have been omens of something bad coming for a little while now, for at least a month. Gazillion missed 4 of its weekly community updates, it stopped talking about the future of the game, it skipped its Halloween event entirely, and 2 community managers just sort of disappeared. Kotaku reports that there were several layoffs this week, and that for the past 2 to 3 months, the dev team has been working on features that they were, quote, not very confident would eventually make it into the game. Now, important to note here is that the game is shutting down not because of Gazillion, but because of Disney. Disney is canceling its partnership with Gazillion and revoking its license to use the Marvel brand. So it's not the developer's choice that the game is shutting down. And one rumor reported by Massively OP is that the reason Disney is distancing itself from Gazillion is because of alleged inappropriate conduct towards female employees by the CEO, Dave Dorman. Now, regardless of the reason and regardless of whether you played or liked Marvel Heroes or not, it's a shame that the game is shutting down, because the game is an action RPG, which is a niche genre, and losing one of the bigger names in a small genre hurts the genre as a whole. Amongst action RPGs, you have cross-interest between players. Some go from Diablo to Marvel Heroes, some go from Marvel to Diablo, some go to Path of Exile, etc. It's all a big synergy, and it's particularly a shame that a part of David Brevik's legacy has to come to an end this way. Now, on to actual Diablo news. There's really not too much to report this week. We're a little more than a week into the new season, and people are generally happy with this season, with this patch. There's been a very positive reaction to the balance changes. And on that note, just a heads up that I will be updating my tier list. Again, going into this, I knew that this season would be the most difficult to predict, what with the huge amount of sweeping balance changes. So I did anticipate that I would have to retool my tier list as we moved into season, and I'll give you a little preview of some upcoming changes. The Charge Barb and the Condemned Crusader will be moving from A tier into S tier, which means that we now have 5 of the 7 classes being represented in the S tier. It's only the Demon Hunter and the Witch Doctor now that are left in the A tier, and that's fewer than 5 Greater Rift levels behind. To wrap up our Diablo news, we'll mention that Blizzard released to us some of the footage from the exclusive BlizzCon demo. I included that in a video that I released yesterday. Feel free to check that out. On to Overwatch news. This week saw a new patch release. With it came Moira, the new hero. We've got our impressions on Moira in this video here if you want to check that out. We're also seeing a buff to Ana's rifle damage. Winston's shield now has a health bar. And more reworks happening to Mercy. So what do we have? We have Resurrect now has a casting time from no casting time at all, and now has almost 2 seconds of casting time. During this casting time, your move speed as Mercy is heavily reduced, and your Resurrect can be interrupted if you are stunned, or knocked back, or hacked. However, if you are ulting in Valkyrie mode, then none of this applies. Cast time is instantaneous, no speed nerf, can't be interrupted. In other Overwatch news, the Game Awards has nominated Overwatch for Best Ongoing Game. If you would like to place your vote, link in the description below on how to do that. In more somber Overwatch news, Dennis Internet Hulk Hawelka, very influential player and coach and figure in esports, passed away recently. He had planned to go to BlizzCon. In the days leading up to BlizzCon, he became quite sick. He was diagnosed with tonsillitis. He canceled his BlizzCon trip. He was being treated in hospital, and shortly thereafter, he passed away. He was only 30 years old. It's tragic, it's shocking, and he was a beloved and important figure in the esports community. And Blizzard has decided to honor him by introducing the Dennis Hawelka Award for its Overwatch League. Quote, "This award will be presented at the end of each Overwatch League season to the player that we deem to have had the most positive impact on the community." Beyond that, the community organized a whole tournament in his honor, and during this tournament on the PTR, Blizzard sent out a message in public chat saying, "In loving memory, hashtag Hulktastic." And then even on the map Eichenwalde in the attacker spawn, Blizzard added this little tribute here. You can see on the Crusader poster, heart symbol IDH. If you read it top bottom, IH is Internet Hulk, and then DH would be Dennis Hawelka. For the past couple months, toxicity and negativity have been a pretty strong theme in the communications of the community, and Internet Hulk represented the antithesis of that. And it's just really nice to see the community be able to come together and shift the tone of the conversation from focusing on the negative toxicity and focusing on something positive. That is the great contribution that Internet Hulk made to the esports scene. In other Overwatch news, a new hero, or possibly a new skin, has been teased. Now this happened in the Moira reveal video, and in this still here in the background you can see what appears to be some kind of concept art for either a new hero or a skin on an existing hero. And Blizzard has done this kind of teaser before. They did this with a Genji skin. They slipped it into a comic. And the real smoking gun here that just about confirms that this is a teaser is that artist Neskane released the original artwork that he produced, and in the original, that little thing isn't there. That means Blizzard specifically added in that detail that was not part of the original artwork. This was deliberate, this shows intent, and if this does not turn out to be a teaser, I would be very surprised. What do you folks think? Is this a new hero or a new skin? And if it's a new skin, for which hero? Also in Overwatch news, we had a director's commentary video release on the latest cinematic. I encourage you folks to check that out, link in the description below. We learned some insightful things, including that Reinhardt was jealous of his commander for being picked for Overwatch because that's what that little token represented. Overwatch would send those out to people that they hoped would join Overwatch. We learned that at the end when Reinhardt gives up his hammer, that's meant to be symbolic of Reinhardt giving up his sort of brazen ways and accepting that he needs to be the shield. And we also got some insight on the struggle of what they can show and not show with respect to wounds and blood while still maintaining a teen rating. And we're gonna finish off this video with just mention of a couple cool things. We've got Zabarta's cosplay here working on a motorized Doomfist cosplay made out of steel. He's using a pressure sensor to activate that gauntlet motion. I look forward to seeing the finished product here. And then lastly, we have this concept art for a Soldier 76 skin Footman or Footman 76. Now that we're gonna have these cross-world skins, this is something that Blizzard could realistically do. And that's gonna wrap up this week's video. But do remember to leave a comment with your thoughts on any and every story that we covered. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Overwatch and Diablo content.